I mean, I do have a lot of fun with this deck. It's revolving around Priest of Possibilities, but this is the board state you can establish with it. And there we go, taking the game. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are finally playing a Priest of Possibilities deck. This is my own janky version, so in no way, shape or form will it get you to Mythic, but it is a ton of fun to play, so I do hope you enjoy the video. Of course, the deck is rolled around Priest of Possibility. If you didn't know, it is a 2-mana 2/2 that when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 7 cards of your library, and any abilities that any of those cards have are going to get transferred to Priest of Possibility perpetually. So the way that we achieve this is by having cards with all of the keywords. So we run Palladia-Mors the Runa, which can give Flying, Vigilance, and Trample. Of course, we have Zetalpa with Flying, Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Indestructible. Elder Gargaroth for Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Enduring Angel for Flying and Double Strike, and then Flying, First Strike, Lifelink, Protection. We do have one Voice of the Plenty to give Flying, but also to give Hexproof to other permanents I control. 2 Board Wipes, just because sometimes you do need that little bit of control. Then we have 2 Questing Beasts, Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. And then we have Fleetfoot Dancer, 4 mana Trample, Lifelink, Haste. And the way that we win, if our opponent doesn't just concede because we drop down a 2 mana 2/2 with all of the keyword abilities, is either by pumping it up progressively over time with Luminarch Aspirant, or it's by hitting them in the face with Sword of Body and Mind. Because Priest of Possibilities most of the time is actually eventually going to be able to get through and hit your opponent, especially if it has something like Death Touch on it as well. Of course, 3 Banishing Lights just for that tad bit of removal. 2 Phyrexian Dragon Engines, because it is a 2/2 with Double Strike, but in the later game we can always unearth it to draw ourselves through to a bit more cards. And then, of course, we run 12 copies of the Indestructible Lands. This is the deck. Honestly, it does work pretty well. Like, if you get Priest of Possibilities in the early game, fantastic. If the game does stall out to a little bit later on, then the top end of our deck can very much close out games without much struggle. If you are new to the channel and do enjoy the video, please make sure to subscribe down below. Maybe leave me a like and comment if you feel like it. But for now, straight into the games. I absolutely love this hand. Us going first, and with double Priest of Possibility, I'm never gonna say no to that. Let's see what Cast Your Might has in store for us. A little unfortunate that the Paradise Druid is in hand, because it would have been nice just to have the chance to maybe hit Hexproof. I mean, I suppose there always is, and there is, look at that. So, on turn 2, we are going to get Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Hexproof. No Indestructible, unfortunately. That is rather unfortunate. The main way we run it is with the lands. Did it at least gain Lifelink? No, it didn't gain Lifelink either. So, let's try this again. Let's drop down our second Priest of Possibility and hope for a better hit. And I believe so. This one now is Flying, Double Strike, Haste, Lifelink, and Trample. Priest of Possibilities are just going to come in for the smacks. Both of them having Double Strike is very nice indeed. So, on one, Priest of Possibilities, Vigilance, Double Strikes, Trample. On the other, it's Flying, Double Strike, Haste, Lifelink, Trample. And, yep, that is going to stop us gaining the life, but at least we now are much further ahead of him, and he is going to be taking damage from the Rolling Vortex as well. So I think we drop the Dragon Engine, and yep, it is going to deal 1 damage to us. Vigilance, Double Strike, and Trample. So do we just go in with both? I think so, because if he is going to block and get rid of the Rampaging Dinosaur, then it does put our life gain back online. But he's down to 3. I mean, this is pretty fantastic, actually. Double Priest of Possibility, getting Flying, Double Strike, Haste, Lifelink, Trample, just going to take the win from this aggro deck. Nice one. Our opponent's going first, but we do have Priest of Possibility in hand, so I'm happy. Let's see. Hopefully we can hit the Indestructible. Oh, no, he's just going to Thoughtseize. Also, I realize my mistake now that Paradise Druid doesn't give Priest of Possibility Hexproof, because even though Paradise Druid has Hexproof, it says it has it as long as it's untapped, so it's not a permanent keyword ability on the card. That makes sense. I've had quite a bit of time learning the ways that Priest of Possibility actually picks up on which abilities it can take. I mean, it's still not a bad card for the deck. Probably is going to be best to swap and switch it around for something else. Probably still something along the lines of giving mana, but maybe something that has an ability I'm actually able to take. So he gets rid of the Gargaroth, because he knows he can -X the Priest of Possibilities in order to get rid of it, which absolutely blows. So yeah, if he sacrifices this, target creature gets -X, where X is twice the number of blood tokens. So he can do that for 2, and it is actually going to get rid of it. So I think we drop down the Paradise Druid and block if he attacks, because even if anything is indestructible and blah 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 blah, it's still going to die to -X, because it can't perpetually live on 0 defense. If he plays the second one down, that would have been smart. If he'd have played a second one down, that definitely would have been smart indeed. So now we drop the Priest of Possibilities, cross our fingers that we hope to hit well, and what do we get? What do we get? I mean, you can also kill it before the triggers resolve, which will be absolutely awful. And he's just going to Bone Crush a Giant before it even triggers. And it would have only got indestructible there. It was a bit of a whiff anyway. Sad that another Priest of Possibilities is getting put to the bottom of the library. But yeah, if you do enjoy these videos and you do enjoy these decks, please let me know with a like and comment down below. Maybe subscribe if you're new. And yeah, let me know what cards you would like me to play, what jank decks that I might not have even come across that you want to see me play. And if you have any other ways that you would build the decks that I play as well, then please let me know, because honestly, I find it really interesting. And often there are times that I haven't even thought of cards or combos, and then as soon as someone comments it, I'm like, how did I not even think about this? So we get the Priest Possibilities, Vigilance, Double Strike, Indestructible, and Trample down. Very nice to see. You can also drop down our Paradise Druid and just go ahead and pass the turn. It has Indestructible and Double Strike, so we can block out things that are bigger than us and still be able to take them out. Oh, they fixed the background. For a while, it's had like a weird bright pink glow over the corners of it. Let's just see what our opponent's going to do. And now we can drop Rhonas, which is able to make this bigger, which was the whole point of kind of having him in here. Aside from the fact that he can give Death Touch and Indestructible, which is a plus, you can just dump mana into him and you can... Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. That's a destroy ability. That is not an exile ability. So we can drop both, right? So we're actually able to plus him up once, just via and tap the Paradise Druid. But I think just because we drew the Aspirant, I'm actually going to play the Aspirant so we can actually give him a proper counter. And I was going to say attack him for the Nicol Bolas, but he sees where this is going. Once this deck gets rolling, he knows that there's no stopping it. We are going first. There's no Priest of Possibility in hand, though I do like this setup with Swiftblade, Vindicator, and Sword of Body and Mind. Could be very nice indeed. We're up against, I absolutely love this guy's name, a level 1 Zubat. That's absolutely hilarious. So let's drop the Paradise Druid, I think, because if we hit a land, then we can get the Fleetfoot Dancer in play. And against against Elf's deck, that actually might be rather important. But of course, it's going to enter tapped, because why would it not? So at least we know that he's not an immediate burn. That's why I didn't play the Aspirant immediately, because I wanted to make sure it can at least get to maybe 3 and have a chance of living. So, I mean, it makes sense for him to play the Wily Goblin, unless he has something like that, of course. But at least, don't think he's going to attack in. Okay, good. So, do we just drop this down and go for the lifelink? It might actually be advisable, really. I think this is probably the play. So we're going to make this a 3-3, so at least if he does decide to attack in, we can remove his stuff. I don't think he was going to block to sack both his board state, and I think just while we can gain that little bit of life, I think it's going to be advisable for us to do that. Krenko's coming down. I mean, this was for the exact reason, right? He's going to drop a Krenko, and then he's going to make a bunch of creatures, and it's just never good for us. So we can drop Sword of Body and Mind. Sure, he can tap Krenko and make a bunch of... He can make 3 in total. But if I go ahead and attach it onto the Fleetfoot Dancer... We're also risking taking quite a bit of smacks next turn. But, so here's the question. Do I make this a 7? So he's going to make 3. That's 3 1-1s. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I think we put the counter on Fleetfoot Dancer. Make it a 7-7 with Trample and Lifelink, and just go for as much life gain as we can get. It should survive to all of this. I mean, he's not even going to bother blocking any of them. I suppose it does have Trample. We are milling him for 10. We did just give him a Muxus into hand. That was super unfortunate to mill all of... At least we got rid of another Krenko mob boss. Yeah, but I mean, come on, bro. We're going to mill him for 10, and then it's going to put a Muxus perfectly on top of his library. Not cool. At least we are making a little bit of blockers. If he attacks them with everything, then we've won, but I don't think he will, because he recognizes that he does actually need the blockers. Though if we... Hang on a second. Questing Beast can't be blocked by things with power 2 or less. So if we drop... Ooh, spiciness. So if we put Questing Beast down, he can't block it? I believe that's how this is going to read, unless he can somehow make things bigger. I don't know. He might have the Flash Goblin that has this particular one, which actually is going to suck, because he's going to be able to get rid of the Dancer. But at least Questing Beast can come down and put the counter on it, because he has no way to block this. Unfortunately, we didn't have a land untapped to attach the Sword of Body and Mind to Questing Beast. But I mean, I think we're sitting in a relatively solid position. Yes, he does have a lot of goblins that he can create. 3, 4, 5. He can't cast Krenko yet. Muxus, sorry, which is at least a little bit of a plus. And we're either going to win next turn, or we're going to lose next turn. He can't actually even tap Krenko. Krenko is the only thing that can block Questing Beast. So unless he feels that confident in his attacks, or maybe he just doesn't do the math, because math is for blockers. Let's just see. Everything has super haste now. Go on, tap Krenko, do it. Okay. Maybe don't. That's a lot of damage. But at least he doesn't have Goblin Chieftain or anything to actually make things bigger. So is Questing Beast just going to roll a Goblin deck? I would like to think so. Alright. So we're going to do max blocks here, because we absolutely have to. So we're blocking all the things with power 2. May as well just block this, and let's just see if we live. I don't know if we do. I don't know if this guy knows if we do or not. But as long as we're above 1, yes, we're on 4. So we take it. Absolutely good game. This guy knows it. Look at this. The Priest of Possibility Jank deck. Taking out a proper Goblin deck. Nice one. Opponent is going first, but that is okay. We have the Priest of Possibility in hand, so we can actually get this rolling. And also, nicely, the Luminarch Aspirant to slowly make him a little bit more powerful. So, have to drop down the Indestructible lands first, because they do enter tapped. So, we're on 12 Indestructible lands out of 24 lands in total, I believe. So, there's often the chance that you get it like I just played it, where the first one is going to be the tapped land, and the second one is going to be an untapped one. So, we hit Zetalpa and Indestructible. So, on turn 2, we have a 2/2 with Vigilance, Flying, Double Strike, Indestructible, and Trample into the Luminarch Aspirant to make it that bit bigger and bigger. Would have been nice to hit Hexproof. I have been contemplating to build this deck with much more creatures that have Hexproof, because even if it has Indestructible, if he has something like Portable Hole, which is an exile spell that absolutely sucks, he's going to take it away from us. I mean, at least we do have Banishing Light that we can always get it back, and it is perpetually on this creature, so it's always going to stay there. It's only going to gain more. It's only going to gain more abilities the more times that it gets replayed. Luminarch Aspirant, knowing our luck, he is just going to have a second Portable Hole, isn't he? Are you? Nope, the Righteous Valkyrie, so we do need to start playing down some bigger creatures at the moment. Elder Gargaroth is going to be nice, because he does have reach. So hopefully we can actually... Well, we can play him next turn, because Chromatic Lantern taps for mana itself, so we will have the 5 for Elder Gargaroth. So yeah, the Priest of Possibility decks, they're always super fun, they're always very janky, because you have to rely on hitting Priest of Possibility turn 2, and then him having Hexproof or not having Exile removal. But, oh, that's just a low blow, bro. That is just a low blow. I mean, I will search my land for a basic land type. Do I have double green at least? Okay, so we can still play Elder Gargaroth. But yeah, if the plan with Priest of Possibility doesn't work out, you do need a strong mid to late game option in order to actually win. So yeah, that's where Elder Gargaroth comes in handy, as well as the Angel. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. The 5-mana 5/5 Angel, or you can just draw through to Zetalpa. So, Elder Gargaroth, hopefully it goes very much unnoticed that he does... Actually, I'm going to attack. That he does actually have reach. At least he can attack, get Charming Prince out of the way. Maybe I should have put the +1/+1 on Elder Gargaroth. I was just like insta-speed clicking through to the Aspirant. Let's just see. I don't think he has a way to gain 7 life in order to start making these like beefed up. And Elder Gargaroth, I mean, I think it's one of the best. I mean, I say this about a lot of cards. This is the fantastic card. Let's put it like that. It's a 5-mana 6/6 Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Whenever it attacks or blocks, create a creature, gain life, or draw a card. pretty sound to me. So do we actually drop Voice of the Plenty to give things hexproof? I think it's not a bad idea. We could definitely drop another Elder Gargaroth, but I do like this idea right now. So now let's put the counter on Elder Gargaroth and attack in. And I think this time, let's draw a card. Hopefully get a bit through to a bit more mana so we can eventually ramp up to Zetalpa. He is just going to take it damaged straight to the face. I mean, I'm not complaining about that one. Definitely gets him away from the 27 life total. Does it? Or is he just going to go straight back up to it? No. So if he'd have blocked, he might have been onto it. He might have been able to double trigger, getting it on +4/+4, which is a very scary thing indeed. So we have the Banishing Light. We could Banishing Light a Valkyrie. I think that's probably the wisest move, because as soon as he gains 2 more life, everything's going to get +4/+4, and that might just be a little bit too much for us to deal with only the Elder Gargaroth. So let's make him bigger and bigger and bigger. Absolutely no mercy with this boy right here. And I'm going to gain 3 life. I think go back to 16. If he does decide to attack in, which I don't think he will. I mean, he does have the opportunity to gain quite a bit of life. But if he does attack in, at least we can gain 3 more life. But it's looking pretty solid against Angel deck for the Priest of Possibility deck to take the lead. And now we have Zetalpa, and I'm pretty sure he's just going to scoop. I'm going to guess, because as soon as Zetalpa hits the battlefield, it really is sort of game over for everybody involved. Now we can start making creatures. And look at this. This deck, I mean, I do have a lot of fun with this deck. It's revolving around Priest of Possibilities, but this is the board state you can establish with it. And there we go, taking the game. GG. Let's go on to the next one. We are going first, though unfortunately I'm going to mulligan this because it's a rather expensive hand without a whole lot of payoff. This one is arguably a little bit better. I think I drop off Chromatic Lantern here, just because we do seem to have the lands more or less sorted. Hopefully we can draw through to Priest of Possibility and actually get this deck rolling. It is very much one of those decks that you need to draw the card in order to be able to showcase its ability. Otherwise, it's just me playing a bunch of things from the top end. So I actually think I drop this down now for red, just so I can get Luminarch Aspirant in play and slowly start making itself a little bit more powerful, especially if we're going to be against Gruul or Werewolves or something like that. Just having him already going to be on a turn, on 3 counters next turn, might be a little bit of a plus. Up against Mordred. Let's just see what this guy is playing. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, I mean, I will definitely take a land. That's not a problem with me. I guess I just pick up Plains. Unfortunately, nothing does... I was going to say, if we needed to, we could Banishing Light. Though these lands just enter in tapped. So definitely going to take this. Drop it down 4 white, just to make sure that we have the double white. So let's play Sword of Body and Mind. Next turn we can equip it if he doesn't play anything. If he's trying to be land destruction. I mean, maybe not the greatest land destruction card as well to play against us, because it does allow you to search. Normally, we'd be the ones playing them with the indestructible lands. Oh, he is. He's just a land destruction deck. Okay, I mean, not a problem with me. I'm going to be able to attach, especially because you're attacking, I am going to be able to attach Sword of Body and Mind to the Luminarch Aspirant. Gain protection from blue and from green. And let's drop down some indestructible lands, just the lands that he can't touch at all. And now it's big smacks in the face. So the plan with this deck is, I mean, yes, Luminarch Aspirant can do this, but it is mainly there to pump up the Priest of Possibilities, because when it has Vigilance, Flying, Trample, Lifelink, Protection from Dragons and Demons and Double Strike, you want it to be as big as possible. So I did think about building this deck with a bunch of auras and enchantments, but then I didn't really find I had enough creatures with keyword abilities. It's like finding that weird in-between sort of blend on what works and what's too janky. But so far I am happy with how this deck is performing. He is holding off on the blocks because he realizes he absolutely needs to block. So I do think... I mean, this gives us protection from green. So if we Banishing Light his Goblin Rune Blaster, we can just hit him in the face again, which seems pretty good to me. Like, roll on that damage, it is also going to mill him out quite a bit. I'm definitely going to make Luminarch Aspirant as big as possible. Go in and attack, has protection from green, so he has no chance of possibly even blocking it. The only way he can remove it is going to be with a red spell in his deck. If he runs Star of Extinction, that would be a way to do it. Fight spells won't even work because this is also a green spell. I mean, I think we are just going to get it with Luminarch Aspirant, slowly getting bigger and bigger. Protection from blue, protection from green, milling him for 10 every time he's hitting it, every time I'm hitting him, and creating ourselves a nice blocker. He's going to destroy a land. He can't even destroy one of my lands because these all have indestructible, and this doesn't have an activated ability. The best he can do is take out a 2/2. But, I mean, it actually does look like we've got him, because he only has green creatures in play, he's out of mana, he has no more blockers, so Luminarch Aspirant and Sword of Body and Mind are actually going to take us this one. Not too shabby. Once we hit him, I mean, we are going to win, but at least we'd mill him down to 13, kind of close to milling him out anyway, which I do find kind of hilarious. Good game, he's saying good game, he knows that there's no chance that he wins it. Good game, Mordred.
Heartbroken.